Shalom. Call Haloyamla, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Racha Kodash, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. Shalom and double honors unto the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elders in Achion, Wa Akwath. Shalom. I want to go into a quick video. I want to play the first few minutes of this podcast here. I'll leave a link in the description. You can check out the whole podcast. It's about an hour long, going into the diesel supply, the diesel engine oil supply that's about to go out. So this country, it runs on diesel. You know, everything that's in the household, everything is transported basically by diesel gas and diesel engine oil based transportation. So with that, it's about to run out within a couple of months, 4 to 8 weeks. And then after that, the vehicles will have about a good, based off, the guy, he's going to break it down a little bit here. And when you get an oil change, these 18 wheelers, they'll run the next time, when you get an oil change, then it can run about 2 to 2.5 months before it needs another oil change. And if the oil is going to run out in, about 2 months, then, it won't be any more oil changes to be able to operate the vehicles to transport all the goods and food and other things. It's going to have a trickle down effect across the entire country. So we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and play the first 5 minutes of it, then go ahead and filter it through the scriptures and go ahead and close out.
Welcome to the situation update for Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022. This is Mike Adams, and today we've got yet another urgent situation to communicate with you. And this time it's something new, but it's real, and it's about a nationwide shortage of diesel engine oil. So you know how diesel engines have to have 3 things in order to operate. They've got to have diesel fuel, they've got to have DEF fluid, as is known, or diesel emissions fluid, and then they have to have diesel engine oil. Well, I learned in the last 24 hours that diesel engine oil is going to run out in the next 4 to 8 weeks in America, and that there will be no more diesel engine oil until sometime in 2023. And when I first heard this, I was very skeptical. I'm like, what do you mean? How can they run out of diesel engine oil? But I did some digging and I made some phone calls, and it turns out it's all true. And I've got diesel engine oil retail websites flashing warnings now, confirming the exact same thing. I did some more research into what goes into the manufacturing of diesel engine oil, and it turns out that there are certain additives, such as emulsifiers and anti-foaming agents and antioxidant agents and things like that, that come out of very specific chemical plants, many of them located on the East Coast. And these chemical plants, many of them have shut down and they've declared force majeure. And as a result, the entire supply chain that ends up creating diesel engine oil, that supply chain has collapsed. And there are no more additives available to add to what are called the base oils. The base oils plus additives is what makes diesel engine oil. And so without the additives, you can't make the oil. The oil's running out in 4 to 8 weeks in America. And that means there will be no engine oil for the long haul rigs, the 18 wheelers, no more engine oil for the diesel electric trains, no more oil for construction equipment, for fire trucks, for anything that runs on diesel, ambulances, you name it. No more diesel for UPS, FedEx, the Postal Service. Amazon will shut down, Walmart will shut down. There will be no food in the grocery stores, nothing on the shelves at Walmart, unless this problem is solved very quickly. This is going to be a total wipeout of transportation in America. It's even worse than that, because diesel electric trains carry coal to the coal-fired power plants. And without diesel engine oil, you can't run the diesel electric trains. And without the trains, you can't carry the coal. And without coal, you don't have electricity. You have no power grid. So unless something changes, that's exactly where things are headed. And I did some more research. You might wonder, well, wait a minute. How often do long haul trucks have to change their oil? And it turns out that 18 wheelers, which provide, food, consumer goods, everything all across America, all the parts and lumber and everything, they change their oil every 25,000 miles. And the typical 18 wheeler goes about 2,500 miles per week. So it means they have to change their oil every 10 weeks. And another way to look at that is you could say that each week, 10% of the trucks that are on the highways have to change their oil. Each week, 10%. So if you have no oil, even if you start with 100% of your trucks completely fresh, with fresh oil that's good for 25,000 miles, by the end of 10 weeks, you have 0% of the trucks on the roads because you can't run them without clean oil. Or, of course, you tear up the engines and you destroy the whole thing. But since diesel trucks right now have different states of oil, in other words, some of them, they're due for an oil change in 2 weeks or 4 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever, what we're going to see if this shortage kicks in, as all the evidence is pointing to this, you're going to see each week 10% of the trucks taken off the road. And this is going to start, it looks like, sometime in August. And so in terms of rough calculations, then by the end of October or certainly early November, unless this problem is solved, there will be no more transportation trucks on America's highways. And there will be no diesel electric trains running. And there will be no transportation effectively in America, not even barges and boats and ships, because most of them use different forms of diesel also. No construction equipment, no tractors, no food production, no farming, no transportation of the food. You understand? Unless this problem is solved, this is a total collapse of society. I mean, there's no other way to say it. And number one, I don't hear anybody in America that's yet aware of this except a couple of people.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go ahead and stop it right there. So if you want to listen to the rest of this, I'll leave a link in the description. So there's like a few things. First and foremost, this is man, he's an Edomite, so-called white man. He's carnal. They prep and depend upon the strength and power of their own hands. And they're fleshly and not spiritual. They lack faith and confidence in the Lord. And the Most High says he's going to provide for his servants. They're going to eat. So he's going to protect his elect. So those that are of the hopeful elect, those that are the elect and of the hopeful elect, don't fear, don't worry about all of this panicking and fear, and this fear-induced panicking from people like him. This is good to, go ahead and cipher, get the information, and then us as the spiritual Israelites, we go ahead, we know that this is all biblical prophecies coming to pass. He says this looks like this is the end of the of society. So yeah, it's a collapse of society because it's the Lord that's doing it. This is the plagues of modern Egypt that the Most High brought upon old Egypt. So we'll just go ahead and jump into the precepts. And we'll start at 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 9. It reads, "And therefore saith the Lord Yahweh, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them." What innocent blood? When a manifest destiny, Columbus and the Edomites that came in and slaughtered the northern kingdom, and then got the southern kingdom, got us from the shores and the coast of West Africa and brought us over here in slavery to build a land on top of our brother's blood. Verse 10, "Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues." This is the key, as before. So this is a new modern Egypt. So the Most High saying he's going to bring plagues upon Egypt as the old Egypt. So this is a new Egypt that the Most High going to destroy again. Because why? Because of the modern Egypt that's destroyed the Israelites again, the so-called white race, Esau, Edom. And let's see, verse 12. "Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. So the Most High is going to bring plagues again upon Egypt to deliver his people because we've been slaughtered. This is the slaughterhouse over here for us. This is our punishment, but it's temporary. And because this guy in the podcast, he sounds shocked, and he was surprised and just caught off guard by how the supply of diesel oil is about to just go completely deplete and be just run out. And so he was surprised, but the prophets and those of the hopeful elect understand that this is all, we're not caught off guard because this is the mercy the Most High gave us to understand the scriptures and understand judgment. As the scriptures say, evil men understand not judgment. And we knew that this was coming. Just we know famines and everything is coming, and plagues and the end time destruction is going to come. But now we're starting to see exactly the key details, the specific details, and how the Most High is bringing it upon them. And we'll go to Revelation chapter 18. Revelation 18 and verse 7. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. And that's why this guy's caught off guard, because him and people like him, all of his people, his race, they thought that America was going to last forever. And so when he get hit with such a catastrophic breaking news alert about the diesel engine oil about to run out, then he gets completely floored and he's totally shocked because they didn't see it coming. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine. So that's one of those plagues of the diesel engine oil running out that's going to shut down the country, because this country is run on diesel engine oil and gas. And so it's going to have a trickle down effect. So it's not only going to bring in the famine, it's going to bring in because the trains use that diesel engine oil as well. That's going to transport the coal, which that coal is converted into energy at the power plants. The trains carry the coal to the power plants, and the power plants use that coal fuel to produce electricity for our households, which is going to cause a blackout in that way. And that's another plague of the old plague of Egypt. Remember that during the time of Moses, that was one of the plagues of the Most High brought a blackout upon Egypt. And that's going to happen again, as far as, because they were already talking about this summer with the super hot summer months. That's hotter than it's been ever. And it's going to be a great strain on the power grid. And they're going to be having rolling blackouts because of it. And it could just black out the power grid altogether. And so that, combined with this coal not being able to be transported with the diesel engine oil to power the trains, to take the coal to the power plants to produce electricity for the households, that's a combined effect. The super hot summer knocking out the power, and the Lord wiping out the diesel engine oil supply because of this war and everything. So it's plague upon plague upon plague that's the Most High is going to just layer on thick to destroy. This is going to be the worst breakdown and destruction of a kingdom in history of mankind because of the extreme wickedness. This is Babylon the Great. Why is it's the great? Because it's all kingdoms. America is the glory of kingdoms, because there's bits and pieces of all the old past ancient heathen wicked kingdoms all rolled into one here. So with that extreme wickedness of this country, the Most High is going to destroy them exceedingly, and it's going to be a very painful destruction of this country. But the elect will be preserved and be provided for, and the Most High will be spiritually guiding the elect through the whole process, protecting them while destroying everybody else. And so C4 as in one day. So that one day, that means very suddenly. And so this guy, he was caught off guard. So everything's coming suddenly. All the plays starting to just overlap each other, coming one after the other. And it's going to be nonstop. For verse 8 again. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. See, that shows you the gradual build up to the thermonuclear missiles. Because the plagues, the Most High is going to make her suffer before he puts her out of her misery forever with the thermonuclear fire. For strong is the Lord, the almighty power Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, who judgeth her. So from there we'll get 2nd Ezra 16. Chapter 16 and verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. So they think that everything is trucking along. The economy had reopened after the COVID lockdowns and the mask mandates went away and the mandates of the vaccines went away. So they're thinking that everything's cool. And even before that, before COVID smacked them, suddenly as well, now coming out of the pandemic, they thinking everything is in good case. Every day of the week, there's restaurant specials and, everything's still rolling and thriving as far as food. But you slowly but surely see on the store shelves, things are dwindling, so, but they still thinking everyone's still going about their day celebrating all of these evil holidays. And June is the pride month, for the alphabet community. So everybody thinking everything is good. They thinking they're in good case. And then all of a sudden they're going to get hit with all the plagues and get destroyed. That's reading it again from the middle here, says that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So this is Babylon the Great. Babel means the root word for Babylon is Babel. Babel means confusion. And Babylon the Great, confusion, great confusion. Everybody's confused. Everybody's getting more and more worried and upset as they're finding out more breaking news about things like this. And, it's just pure destruction that's coming. Verse 22 says, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So, people gonna escape. Some people may be able to get through the famine, and then through the uproars and the riotings and people with lack of food ravishing other people's households and the wars and everything that way, death gonna come one way or the other to the wicked. From there we'll go to verse 39. It says, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth. So that's letting you know right there. So they're not going to slack. It's not going to be one plague and then that one fade out. Like we're saying, it's going to be plague upon plague upon plague. The Most High is going to keep hitting them with waves of plagues, and the Most High is not going to let it stop, because this is an extremely wicked kingdom. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. So the plague's going to just come upon them, and it's going to grab hold of the entire earth with multiple plagues at once. From there we'll go to 2nd Ezra 15 and verse 5. Behold, saith the Most High Power Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. So these are those plagues all at the same time that's going to overlap and be attacking the people from every angle. We'll go ahead and get verse 18. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. And we know this is the home of the proud. This is the most proud country in the history of mankind, and led by the most proud nation in the history of all nations. So And we know the scripture say what? Before destruction go with pride. So this place is proud first and foremost above all. And they're going to have a long, terrible fall. Let's see, keep going. Trouble, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Because all of these proud, evil, wicked men throughout the earth, chiefly here in Babylon and Great America, all these proud men that, just like this guy in this podcast, he's a proud guy as well. And they're going to be troubled and become afraid after hearing about all the things that's coming down. Let's see, we'll get verse 19. And man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. The lack of bread, that means famine. So it's going to be a famine, and men will be kicking in their neighbor's door, ransacking the place, killing their neighbor or being killed by their neighbor. So it's going to be complete chaos and pandemonium. But fear not, for the hopeful elect, those that are of the elect, they will be protected and won't be destroyed like that. Thus saith the Lord, not myself. Just out of faith and confidence and believe. Verse 49. I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood. That's when a woman loses her husband, because while the wars and then also neighbors and men just being destroyed by other men to take over their households and their goods. I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. Because it's that time. It's that we're in the time of judgment now. The Most High, he was patient and he let everything unfold the way it was supposed to, the way he had it all play out. And then now we're in a time of judgment. And everyone that's been sowing to the flesh shall reap corruption. And everyone that's been sowing, the elect that's been sowing to the spirit, shall reap of the spirit, shall reap protection and shield, being shielded by the Almighty and his only begotten Son. So we'll go to 2nd Ezra 16, go back to chapter 16. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and 16 and 14 and 13 really goes heavy into the end time prophecies. So what's going to give you a clearer picture. So this apocrypha is invaluable to have as well, because it gives you even more in-depth understanding of what's about to come. 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 21. Oh, I already got that. Hold on. Verse 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. So this is the beginning of sorrows and great mournings and the beginning of the famine. As we're hearing, if this diesel fuel goes out, they say that in 2023, they'll re-up and replenish the oil. But, that's just Esau more than likely just lying and kicking the can down the road to suspend and to postpone everyone's panicking. And it's because once everybody panic, then that's when it's going to be straight chaos and pandemonium and anarchy and rioting in the streets. So this is the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars. And what we're hearing now, World War III is popping off over there in the East, over there in Europe, over there by Russia and Lithuania and Kaliningrad and all of these areas, and Ukraine, that kicked it all off. The beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. Even though they warn, the elites of the society, the Illuminati, shadow government, they know what's going on, and they in fear, but they trying to stop prophecies and trying to circumvent it and trying to supplant the prophecies of the Most High. But the prophecies of the Most High is sure, and it will come to pass. And the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? This is Ezra's asking what he's going to do, because he's seeing the Most High is giving the prophet Ezra these visuals, these visions, and it's it's pretty troublesome to see it, but the elect and the prophet is going to be taken care of. And this proves too that regeneration and reincarnation exists, because this was about This was more than 2,000 years ago when Ezra wrote these prophecies down in the book of Ezra. So why is he saying, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Those evils didn't come at that time. He knew that he was going to be alive. He's going to be regenerated in the end times. So all the prophets are back in these times, but they will be saved out of it. Verse 19 says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. So the Most High is doing this because it's the reward that those that sow to the flesh will reap. Let's see. From there, we'll get verse 34. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed. See, that's when they go on a war and widowhood. All these women are going to be without husbands, and their husbands shall perish of famine. And also, they're going to be dying in the wars, in this Third World War, and also of the famine, those that are not in the war. And then also through men raiding homes as well. So it's going to be all kind of chaos and pandemonium. So from there, we'll get Matthew chapter 24 and verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. So these famines about to really get turned up and kick off here sometime at this point this year, going into next year. As the timeline of these prophecies are unfolding right now. Verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. That's why since 2020, COVID lockdowns and everything has just ramped up so much. Everything everything is overlapping right now. The famines, the earthquakes was hitting leading up to 2020. Earthquakes all over the earth that was never earthquakes in. And then, now we have these pestilences of the COVID and monkeypox, all these other things. And then you have the WW3. And then now the thing that's going to really speed it up even quicker is now the microchip being talked about at a record pace now. They really talking about it. So once that get mandated, that's going to for sure speed everything up. And then the famines and everything else that's going to come with it. Going to really be like those days in the movie, The Book of Eli and I Am Legend. Verse 22, we read that. And then verse 13. But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. That shows you that Christianity is a lie, and it's a lie from Satan, because they all say, I'm saved. No, we're not saved. We're still in hell. We're still stuck underneath this beast system. So those that will endure what? All of this wickedness, and endure not giving in to the chip and keeping the commandments, he shall be saved in the end. You endure all of this final test, and then he will be saved and beamed up into the chariots, so-called UFOs, and escape that thermonuclear fire. And we'll just go ahead and get Isaiah 65:13 and close out. It reads, therefore, thus saith the Most High Power, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, behold, my servants shall eat. The servants of the Lord are the prophets, and then they are symbolic of the whole 1/3 body. My servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, and that's that, the famine. The elect will eat during the famine. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. We're going to drink. We're going to eat and drink, physical food, but also that goes into spiritual food. The knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of our times. The spiritual food, the spiritual waters, and the carnal, fleshly food and waters as well. But ye shall be thirsty, because we'll know what's going on. But everybody else is going to be going to and fro, worried and concerned, not knowing what to do, because they're going to be thirsty for food. They're going to be hungry for food of spiritual understanding to know what's going on, and the waters, the spiritual waters. along with the, to sustain their flesh and their spirit. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. So, keep the commandments, pray for forgiveness, repent, have the faith and testimony of Yahushua, and just be patient. Don't stress. It's some worry sometimes, but know that the Most High, and we'll get that as well real quick, because no matter how bad it gets, the Most High is going to protect his elect. Excuse me. So, verse 25 said, I have been young and now am old, yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. So the elect won't be begging bread, meaning spiritually and physically, going to eat on every level until the Most High send his only begotten Son to save his elect and destroy everybody else. And let's see what is righteous, so you'll know what to do. Romans 10:5. For Moses describeth the righteousness which is of the law, that the man which doeth those things shall live by them. So how do you live? You're going to be able to eat spiritually with the word and be sustained and fortified and grounded, and also sustain your flesh with the Most High will provide food for those that keep his commandments and are righteous. So now with that being said, hope this video was edifying. The water to the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit from the Almighty through Yahushua, his only begotten Son. To the next video I say, Shalom.